Good afternoon, everybody. It's Engle for TGI Sports Talks Major League Baseball update. And we've got real baseball to talk about today. What do you know about that? Welcome, everybody, on TGI Sports Talks page on to Let's Talk Sports. This is kind of an exclusive presentation. And everybody on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube. Guys, these are your shows. I'd like to have lots of participation. We're still trying to find a permanent home for this show. I got to go out and look at some townhomes here this afternoon and get some work done. So I thought I'd start early today. We will be on live with Dan Harris. Hopefully Dan Harris will be joining us at 5 o'clock with Let's Talk New York Sports, where we'll talk more baseball and the Knicks and the Yankees and the Mets and blah, blah, blah. Today, we're going to get into some baseball. We'll go through the scores. We'll go through some news. We'll talk about some of the rules that have already... It's just stupid. Anyway, are we happy it's Major League Baseball? Yesterday, all 32 teams, if my math is right, opened up yesterday. Unlike previous years, well, and this hasn't been the case for a while, but the Cincinnati Reds for years had the honor of opening up the season by themselves, standalone game. I know it's been a few years since we did that. But I really think we should go back, get some of these old traditions back. The Cincinnati Reds were the first big league team. They had the honor for decades of being the first team to play. And I think we should honor those types of traditions. So let's get back to that. All that being said, kind of an interesting day. Oh, let's see. What went on that we want to definitely discuss? Ohtani calls his own pitchers and strikes out 10. Angels lose. DeGrom didn't pitch great, but the Rangers won. Don't get excited, Rangers fans. That's not going to keep happening. Or Cub fans. Rockies closer Bard is on the IL. We'll talk about all this. Contreras exit early in the Card loss. He's set for an MRI. Verlander got hurt. He's on the DL. What else? Cubs Stroman gets called for the first clock violation. But there was also a game, and I don't remember which game it was in now, but a strike is called on the batter. We're going to get into the scores in a second. But a strike gets called on the batter, and the penalty was on the runner. The runner wasn't ready at second base. Well, if he's dilly-dallying around and the batter's in the box within the allotted time, 8 seconds, I think, the pitcher needs to throw the ball. Just throw the pitch. So if the pitcher didn't throw, it ought to be a ball on the pitcher, not a strike on the hitter. Nowhere in the rules does it say the runner comes into the equation here anywhere. If he's not paying attention, just throw the ball. Just freaking annoying, man. But we'll look at the scores. We'll look at some of the things we might have learned from opening day. And please, 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 as you join in and out of the show, as a lot of you do, we get we're getting some good viewership from this. And the groups who allow me to share this, the baseball groups, and the basics, the general sports groups, thank you very much. We get more and more views. We get more and more engagement as we go forward. And by the way, guys, if you're watching this from one of the baseball sites, the Mets, basically the Mets groups, which I'll be sharing this to, I'm sure. Somebody reshared something I posted about Jacob DeGrom signing with the Rangers months ago, probably 6 months ago. 5 months ago, anyway. When that gets reshared, pay attention to when the original post was. I posted that and made my comments about one dumb owner and the article that went along with it about the Rangers signing DeGrom for too much money and too many years because they're not ready to win. I don't know why Met fans are getting mad at me. But first of all, it wasn't based off of his performance yesterday. It was based off of the fact that he's been hurt for a gazillion years and he's not worth a 5-year contract. He's still a great pitcher. Wrong signing for the Rangers. They're not ready to contend. So anyway, pay attention to the dates on these things. Somebody reshared it. I didn't just post that after DeGrom's game yesterday, although I still feel the same way. Anyway, let's jump into some scores. Yankees at home against the Giants and Gabe Kapler. Garrett Cole pitches great in this game, guys. What do you do here? There's some interesting storylines here. Judge gets his first home run of the year off Logan Webb. Garrett Cole goes 6 innings with just 3 hits, 11 strikeouts. Now, granted, this isn't a great San Francisco offense, but well done, Garrett Cole. The bullpen pitched really well. Peralta, Loaizaga, who I think is very important in that bullpen as a Swiss Army knife, and then Marinaccio, 3 strikeouts in 2 innings, did very well. A couple of holds in this game. Nobody cares. Logan Webb didn't pitch great. 12 strikeouts in 6 innings, though. That's pretty good. And he gives up a few runs, and the bullpen doesn't help him so much. Big stories, as I said, Aaron Judge with his first home run of the year. Anthony Volpe carries himself very well. Gets the second biggest ovation amongst Yankee fans as teams were introduced behind Judge. Judge had already prompted him that he needed to be prepared for the roll call that the bleacher bums do for the Yankees. Did a great little job of kissing the NY on his jersey. You watch this kid, he carries himself like a major leaguer. He carries himself like an experienced player. He's going to go through ups and downs. He's a rookie. He's a young guy. Still got some developing to do. But I like the way he carries himself. Don't get all over me. This is not about performance even a little bit when I say this. But he carries himself the way Derek Jeter carried himself throughout his career. He carries himself like Aaron Judge has carried himself throughout his career. Now, he's got a long ways to go to match those guys as a ball player. I understand that. I'm only talking about his approach to the game. I love it. I love the enthusiasm that he brings. Yankees start Cabrera in left field, Donaldson at third base. Judge did play center field in this game, which they don't want to happen a lot, but it's going to have to. Now, Vlope didn't do much. He didn't get any hits, but he flawless in the field. Stolen base, scored a run. Oh, no, he didn't score a run. I thought he scored a run. He did not. Donaldson 1 for 4, couple of strikeouts. That's not going to cut it, guys. So I get a little worried. But anyway, a good opening day for the Yankees. Good start. The Astros. Suddenly I'm on the wrong day. On the Friday. The Braves beat the Nationals 7-2. Max Fried also gets hurt. Pitched well in this game. Gets hurt on opening day. He's going to be out for a little bit. Another pitcher injured. Don't tell me about the World Baseball Classic being a problem, guys. Players are falling right and left. The Nationals, all you really need to know is Patrick Corbin got the start here on opening day. It'll be a long season in Washington. I can tell you that right now. Who stands out here? Anybody stand out in this game? Not so much. We won't do this in depth probably every week, but Ozzie Albies had 2 hits and 5 at-bats, drove in a run. As I said, Fried pitched okay for the 3 1/3 that he pitched, and the bullpen pitched really well. They got a really good bullpen in Atlanta. Atlanta's the most, I think the most, and the Astros, the most balanced teams in Major League Baseball. When you factor in starting rotation, bullpen, lineup, and depth a little bit, although nobody's got any depth. Depth is terrible around Major League Baseball. So anyway, they're the 2 teams that I have matching up in the World Series. Sorry, Yankee fans. Don't hate me. I'm a Yankee fan. I think they'll lose to the Astros in the ALCS again. The Orioles, after last year's stunning result, I think, they win an opening day against a really bad Red Sox team. 10-9. Pitching will be a problem for the Orioles. It was a pitching on this day. Rauschman, the catcher, gets 5 hits in this game. Nice start for him. Cedric Mullins with a nice start to the day. 4 RBIs too for Rauschman, hitting second behind Mullins. Henderson, who I think might be the rookie of the year potentially. I like Volpe only because he's a Yankee. He's a Yankee shortstop. If he has a decent year, he'll win the MVP or not the MVP, the rookie of the year. Urias had a nice day for the Orioles. Adam Frazier had a good day for the Orioles. For the Red Sox, Verdugo was okay. Devers had his 2 hits. Justin Turner, back from getting hit in the face, goes 2 for 4. But he's hitting third in this lineup. That tells you, look, this team might score some runs, but you got Yoshida, Duvall, and Verdugo in the outfield. Not a great outfield, okay? Your infield is really shaky, except for Devers at third base. Going to be a long year for those Red Sox, guys. I'm sorry. 100 losses is on the horizon here for this team. Brewers, who I like to win the Central. Lots of pitching, no hitting. They showed no hitting yesterday. 4 hits, gets shut out by the Cubs and Marcus Stroman. Burns gets the loss. Swanson has a nice day here in his debut. This Cubs team, though, is poorly constructed, as I've said here and other places. I don't think they're going anywhere. Rays beat the Tigers. The Tigers will be horrible. McClanahan, I picked to win the Cy Young in the American League. He's very sharp here. Pitched 6 innings. Pretty standard for the starters here on opening day. And Wander Franco gets a home run in this game, and a nice start for the Rays. The Rangers, don't get excited, guys. Now, I said this team was flawed. And don't forget, you played a flawed Phillies team, too. I think the Phillies are headed for some trouble. Because they're pitching after Nola, who didn't pitch well yesterday. He got hammered, 5 runs in 3 2/3. DeGrom gives up 5 runs in 3 2/3. Didn't get hurt, so I guess we got that going for him. So this was an offensive struggle. Simeon had a couple of hits. Corey Seager a hit. Garcia with 2 for 4. I would look for walks for Garcia. That's where you want to see some activity. Jung, their heralded rookie, doesn't get a hit. Heim goes 2 for 4. Nice day. But obviously the Phillies were not doing much. Realmuto gets 3 hits in this game. Nick Castellanos, who needs to rebound for the Phillies to be able to stay in this race, gets 2 hits. Alex Baum with 3 hits yesterday. He could be a sleeper candidate for, maybe most improved player this year. I like him a lot. I don't like this Phillies team, though. I think they're going to struggle. The Rangers, we talked about pitching rotations. They don't not have a good pitching rotation. I don't care any way you look at it. If DeGrom does stay healthy all year, maybe I'm wrong here, and I'll admit it. But I don't see this team even finishing 500, much less competing. I do see Seattle pushing the Astros, though. Let's continue on. The Twins, who I picked to finish second in the Central behind the team formerly known as the Indians. Guys, feel free to comment on anything we're talking about here. Any topics you want to bring about opening day or baseball in general, including the ridiculous new rules, feel free to bring them up. Pablo Lopez, opening day starter for the Twins, pitches very, very well. They win 2-0 over the really bad Royals. Zach Greinke pitched okay in this game. Pablo Lopez, I love. I thought the Yankees were going to have a shot at getting him last year. They wouldn't give up Gleyber Torres in the deal, and it died. You got to give up somebody to get somebody. Pablo Lopez would look really good in this Yankee rotation. I don't like Carlos Rendon. This would have been the guy for the Yankees to go out and get. The Mets win 5-3. Max Scherzer gets the win. Nemo hits a 2-run double to put this game away. David Robinson replacing Edwin Diaz, who had one of the great relief seasons in history. Certainly the best reliever in baseball last year. Never a guarantee going into the second year. David Robinson gets the save. He'll be the first guy to get a chance to keep that job. O'Neal Cruz, the 6'8" shortstop for the Pirates, hits a home run yesterday, shortly after being helped by a pitch clock violation. Okay. I got to read these things. Unbelievable. 5-4, they win over the Reds. Two hapless teams going nowhere, by the way. Don't get excited, Pirates fans. By the way, you probably have to change your name soon because I've heard Pirates are starting to get offended by the use of the logo and such. That's a joke. The Blue Jays. George Springer gets 5 hits, and they outlast the Cardinals 10-9. Not a great job pitching by anybody in this game. Vlad Guerrero did drive in 3 runs. Listen, I have a hot take that Brian Schneider will be the first manager fired this year, fired by Memorial Day. Blue Jays get off to a bad start. This is a World Series of bust team, and Donnie Mattingly will be the manager of the Blue Jays and do battle with the Yankees all year long. Anthony Price, how are you, buddy? Orioles with a nice day yesterday. Listen, I did pick the Orioles. If you watched the Major League Baseball preview, Drew Ehrlich and I did last night, you can still catch it. Anthony, we talk about the Orioles in depth as we do about all the teams. I like the Orioles. The pitching is really shaky. I don't think they're going to make the playoffs. I like them to win 84 games. I think they'll finish 3rd in the East. I think they'll finish ahead of Tampa Bay, certainly ahead of the Red Sox. If they get some pitching, they could surprise because I love their lineup. I really do. This is a team. Let me get to their let's get to their box score really quick since Anthony, if you've got more to say on this, certainly feel free to pipe up. Cedric Mullins has really turned into a really good player and a catalyst at the top of that lineup. Rauschman's hitting second, and I like him in that spot. 5 hits yesterday and 4 RBIs. Maybe the best catcher in baseball already. I like Santander in the outfield. Mountcastle, don't know that much about him. Not sure exactly, where he's going to be. But Gunnar Henderson, he DH'd yesterday. I think you're going to see him play a lot of third base as well. He takes a collar yesterday, but I do think he'll be in the running for the American League Rookie of the Year. I do think Volpe will get it only because he's a shortstop of the New York Yankees. If he doesn't fall on his face, he's going to have a very good chance to win the award. But I like Gunnar Henderson a lot. Urias is a serviceable player when he plays at third base. Hayes, don't know that much about him. Adam Frazier, a guy who can play all over the lineup, hadn't really done much since the Pirates had moved him to the Padres a couple years ago at the trade deadline, and certainly didn't do much with the Seattle Mariners last year. But I also like Mateo at shortstop, good fielder. So listen, there's a lot to like. If this pitching staff can do anything, the Orioles might surprise and make a wild card. I'm not counting on it. I've got them out right now, but remember, one of the team I do have in with the last wild card is the Twins. I see the Twins, the Orioles, maybe the Rays, all around 84, 85, 86 wins and fighting for that last wild card spot. Italy Jet, good to have you with us today. Red Sox fan there. You're scared about the pitching? You should be. The pitching is terrible. The hitting is not bad. We talked about that here as we looked at their game, and we'll look at their lineup real quick from yesterday since you bring it up. Italy Jet, good to have you with us. Not sure we've had you with us before, and I'm really happy you're with us. If it is the first time, please get to TGI Sports Talk and like and follow the page. And if you will, share it with your friends. Invite your friends to join. We've got this show. We've got interview shows. I got an interview I'll be doing with Chuck Foreman Sunday after our Stream of Consciousness show, and it'll air next Thursday. Chuck Foreman, former Minnesota Viking, for you Minnesota fans. Anyway, looking at the Red Sox lineup, Italy, Verdugo's a nice player. I'm not sure I like him leading off. Devers, great hitter. Justin Turner, I don't think there's much left. I think him and JD Martinez are going to trade off. You're probably going to get the same production out of whichever one you had. Ugly situation with him. Getting hit in the face last week. It was, if you saw the pictures, it was scary. Back in the lineup though, 2 for 4 yesterday. Good locker room presence. Yoshida, not really sure what we're going to get there. Adam Duvall, best days are behind him. Casas, I'm not sure at first base what you're going to get. Arroyo, you're counting on some really young guys in Casas, Arroyo, McGuire, Hernandez. So again, you've got some good hitters in Verdugo and Devers, and I'll count Turner in there. Duvall could turn it around a little bit like he did 2 years ago with the Braves. The pitching's bad, though, dude. I mean, Corey Kluber was your opening day starter. Bad news. Bad news. Bad news. So I hate to break it to you. Now, you probably already know it's going to be a long year for the Red Sox. It really is. Don't pay attention to the Yankees on my jersey or the hat. I tend to be pretty open-minded. I'm not just, listen, I'm hard on my team. I picked them not to make the playoffs last year. I do have them winning the division this year. Anthony Price, you're in your 30s. Well, God bless you. I wish I was. So you're 30 years younger than me. But you like the longer games without the pitch clock. I hate it. Anthony, I thought you told me you liked the pitch clock earlier in the year when we were talking. In one of the many diatribes I went off about the new rules. The pitch clock, the pitch clock's going to help Judge hit more home runs. You think so? I don't know. I'm unsure. Is it going to shorten games? Yes. I don't want, and to be clear, I mean, I don't want a bunch of 3.5 hour games either. The games ought to be able to be played in 2.5 hours. Back in the day, they just got the ball and threw it. Games got played in 2 hours regularly in my youth. But already, Anthony, I don't know if you heard me earlier. There was, I don't remember the game it was in. But there was a game where a runner caused a pitch clock violation and a strike on the hitter because the runner wasn't ready. Nowhere in the rule does it mention the runners. Nowhere. So, to me, if the hitter's in a box with 8 seconds left, he's doing what he's supposed to do, the pitcher should throw the ball. And if he doesn't throw the ball, it should be a ball on him. Now, again, I don't know all the particulars, but again, the way I understood it, the runner caused the violation. Not sure how that could happen other than the way I just talked about it. These rules, the shift, you're going to see batting averages go up just because guys don't have to even, improve their mechanics or their approach to hitting. All they got to do is hit it where they did because there won't be guys there now shifting because you want to pull everything. Italy Jet, what do you got? I think people are going to underestimate Yoshida. Hitting, you said you weren't worried about hitting. I think they do have some young talent. Yeah, I guess the back of the bullpen is probably certainly better than the starters. The starters are not good. Yoshida, we'll see what you'll get out of him. He could be a good player. This team's not, I don't think you're saying you're going to get 10 this year because I can't see any way that you are. I could be wrong. Again, 2 years ago, I think I picked this team to finish last as well when I looked at their pitching staff. Now, who knows? Sale gets healthy. I don't know. Strange things happen in baseball. I just don't think it's going to happen. Prices, Anthony, you're not spending money for food. If the game is 2 hours, maybe buy a beer or two. Yeah, well, you take out a mortgage if you want to have more than a couple of beers. You guys can continue to comment, bring up any topics you want, both of you, any of you. I see we got a few other people with us as well. And later on, if you're watching this not live, certainly feel free to comment because I see those comments and I will respond when I'm able. Let's continue on. We talked about this game. Where did we leave off here? Twins. I guess we're up to the Mets. No, we did the Mets. Pirates and Reds. We're kind of Blue Jays. I did tell you, Brian Schneider, first guy fired. That's where I left off. Don Mattingly will be the manager of this team. Schneider did not have anything to do with the hiring of Don Mattingly as a bench coach here. Watch out. Be careful. I think things are going to look very, very interesting. Italy, good show. Listen, thank you, Italy, for that. I hope you do that. I like to have fun and I riff. I'm very opinionated. I don't for a second think I'm right about everything. I do when I say it. I kind of follow the Billy Packer. If you haven't watched me before, Billy Packer used to say something about, let's see, he used to say, I'm never wrong, but never in doubt. So that's me. I'll come off very opinionated. And I'm passionate about what I believe. Doesn't mean I'm always right. I love sports. And you'll find it. You'll follow my shows, Italy. You'll find that I have a lot of fun doing what I do. Love participation from the audience. You guys are my co-hosts a lot of times. That's why I like doing these shows solo, so that I can get to all of your comments. That's what I like. So please continue to participate. I hope you'll like and follow the show. And as I said, invite your friends. Where are you located, by the way? Are you a Bostonite? And I'm a Patriot fan, by the way, just an FYI. Not a front runner either. 1970s when I started watching the Patriots. 10 years old. All right, where was I? We talked about that. Okay, I guess we're up to the White Sox beating the Astros 3-2. Tough start for the Astros. The Astros might be off to a tough start here. As you know, they're going to be without Altuve for a couple of months. Presley gets a loss. I think Presley's one of the better relief guys in baseball. Graveman gets the win out of the bullpen. He'll have to replace Hendricks as he undergoes cancer treatments. Now, the good news for Hendricks, they didn't place him on the 60-day IR, which is a really good sign that he's progressing through his cancer treatments, and maybe we'll be back sooner than they thought. And our prayers are with him and his family, obviously. Vaughn did get the game-winning hit to lift the White Sox over the Astros in this game. White Sox could surprise. Again, they've still got a lot of talent. They didn't bust this team up other than moving Abreu, really. Their pitching, again, like a lot of teams, are going to go as far as their pitching will take them. And, after Lynn, if Giolito bounces back, Lynn has pitched well, except for when he's with the Yankees. I mean, I said, I don't know if it was this morning or last night on the show, that I'm pretty sure I can go through every roster, every pitching staff in baseball, and I can find a guy who's pitching well and never pitched for any good for the Yankees. Padres lose to the Rockies in their first game. And listen, the Padres are loaded with talent. And I know it's the first game. We're not going to get too excited. Blake Snell gets hammered pretty good in this game. Crone and the Rockies hit a bunch of homers. They hit he homered twice. C.J. Crone hit 30 home runs last year, I think. I don't think don't believe me. I don't think don't believe me. Believe me, I don't think the Rockies are going to be any good. And I think the Padres will win this division. I think the Dodgers will win 20 less games than they won last year, but that still gives them 89 or 90 wins. And they'll make the playoffs. Padres win this division, I think, getting close to 100 wins. It's going to depend on what they can do in the playoffs. And it's also going to depend, even them winning this division, can all of these superstars coexist and build some chemistry? Because it could all implode. And the pitching needs to be good after the front three, and Josh Hader needs to be as good as he was with the Brewers and towards the end of last year. The Angels lose. Ohtani strikes out 10 in his debut yesterday. The Angels are still the Angels. They've improved a bit. They need Anthony Rendon to bounce back in a big way. I did pick the Angels to win, I believe, 84-ish games, but lose out to Seattle and the Astros. The Mariners are going to push the Astros this year, and we'll talk about them in a second. But the Angels lose to the A's, who, listen, to me, the A's could lose 120 games this year. They're bad, probably historically bad. Take a look at that roster. Alex Simpson's with us this morning, again, or this afternoon. We're back doing some just Major League Baseball. I know we talked about it this morning, but that was more of a preview, and I'm giving some of my thoughts that I talked about this morning, but also going through the scores and the news of the day, and we'll see what other takeaways we had. Any takeaways you guys have from opening day, jump in. I don't know. Did you tell me, Alec, who you root for? Are you a Giant fan as well as a 49er fan? As I move on to the Diamondbacks and the Dodgers. Dodgers whacked the Diamondbacks 8-2. Urias gets the win, pitched pretty well. The offense played very well. Zach Gallen gets hit hard for the Diamondbacks. I do think the Diamondbacks might be they might be a team to sneak up on people. I do not think this team is ready to win this year. I do think they could get into the low 80s, as high as 84 wins. It could still be 78. This team will be a contender next year. They've got an outfield that covers more ground than any outfield in baseball. And they've got some really good young bats. And if they've got some veterans that they need to step up. They're expecting a lot out of Evan Longoria. Ketel Marte needs to bounce back. They got some good young pitchers. I like their first two pitchers and Kelly and Gallion, even though he got racked around yesterday. I like this team to finish third ahead of the Giants in the West. And the Mariners win 3-0 behind J.P. Crawford gets the beneficiary. There's every one of these notes has like a beneficiary or somebody gets hurt by the shot clock already. Shot clock, pitch clock. I've seen a lot of people saying it's a great, great thing. I just don't get it. Anyway, the Guardians, who will probably repeat in the Central, we'll see. Good young talent, possibility sometimes. Good young talent sometimes takes a step forward and then a step backward before they really turn to greatness. That might be the case here, but I think the Mariners are really ready to step up and challenge the Astros. I do not think they'll beat them, but I think they'll challenge. They may have the second best record in baseball, chasing the Astros through the summer, but love their pitching staff. Their starters, Gilbert, can't remember the, oh my God, can't remember the kid I was thinking of. I think J-Rod might be the MVP this year, by the way. He's my dark horse for the MVP. I was thinking of Logan Gilbert and George Kirby. They're the third and fourth starters. Robbie Ray won a Cy Young 2 years ago. Didn't pitch great in his first year in Seattle, but he could bounce back. Luis Castillo's he's nasty. Ty France stepped up last year. Colton Wong can kind of bounce back to where he was a few years ago. Suarez, decent glove, lots of power, won't hit much. J.P. Crawford, I'd like to step up. He had a great day yesterday, had 2 home runs. I love their outfield. Kelenic, J-Rod, and the newly acquired Teoscar Hernandez. I think this is a great outfield. There's a lot of really good outfields in baseball. This is one of them. And then A.J. Pollock bringing a veteran presence. I like this team a lot. I think they might give the Astros a scare this year, and we'll see how that goes. Yeah, Alec, I think I noticed from a column you made this morning you're finding your way in baseball. Baseball's still a great sport. Does it need to be played faster? Yes. I grew up, as I said, games being played in 2 hours without putting in pitch clocks. The game doesn't need the rules that have been put in. You diametrically change the games when you change the size of the bases. People think, oh, the bases are bigger. What's the big deal? They're also 4.5 inches closer together. For 150 years, the bases were 90 feet apart. Now they're 95 and a half. I can't do math. Is that right? No, 95 and a half. That's not right. 84 and a half. My Perth education is showing again. Finding his way in baseball, you need to say it twice. You need a team. I'll give you a team. The Yankees. Where are you? Out in San Francisco? I don't know if you are in San Francisco. Where are you? Tell me where you're located. I'll give you a local team to root for. You want somebody to root for and not look like a homer or a bandwagon jumper? Get on a Diamondbacks bandwagon right now. Next year, you'll be out in front of all your friends when they're contending because they're going to be a really good team. What else you guys got? Throw something at me. Let's look at some of the other takeaways from opening day. You got some of my predictions there. What else did we learn on opening day? I'm not going to learn anything. I did learn I'm not happy. The pitch clock is going to speed up baseball, and I realize that's the case. Am I happy about it? No. The pitchers usually are ahead of the hitters this time. To me, it's kind of an even split. Again, I'm unhappy that the Reds aren't given their... They need to go back to the Reds having a standalone starting day, opening day, to honor their history and the history of baseball. Why can't we do that? Why can't we do simple things like that? Rob Manfred. My God. I don't know. You guys tell me. Am I wrong? Am I saying something wrong? What's the big storylines this year? What are the big storylines we need to be looking at? We know the new rules are going to cause chaos. Will they eventually settle down and be worthwhile? I don't like any of them. Do I want the game sped up, as I said a minute ago? Absolutely, I do. There's rules in the book to enforce it. Just enforce the rules you have. You try to take the onus off the umpires by putting the pitch clock in play. Wait till the first time we have to have a replay to see where the clock started too soon or too late. My head will effing explode. What's another big story? The Braves, I said, are so good. Are they as good as the Astros? I see them meeting up in the World Series. I think these are the two most complete teams in baseball. A guy I love is Spencer Strider with the Braves. Got off to a great start last year. I picked him to win a Cy Young this year. He might strike out 300 guys. They locked him up long term last year as well. So it's going to be very interesting to see how this team and how this pitcher progresses again this year. I like what you might see. A lot of talk about Corey Seager really benefiting from the new rules about the shift. One of the many players that will, because he doesn't know how to hit away from it. Guys, just teach your hitters to hit them where people are not. When I played baseball, which I did till I was 35 years old, in semi-pro leagues, and in college, I was taught to hit the other way. I was taught to move runners up. We don't do that anymore. Maybe I know people are trying to eliminate the three true outcomes in baseball: home run, walk, and strikeout. But this isn't the way to do it. Baseball batting averages and on-base percentage were down across baseball last year. You didn't need rules to fix that. You need to change players' approach to the game. Sorry, Alec. You're hearing me rant on things that just drive me crazy. Alec is just scoring for teams this year. I'm a Niners fan, so like to be disappointed at the end of the season. Well, then I suggest you be a Met fan. Mets are known for being disappointed at the end of the season, leading in the spring, all through the summer, and then collapsing. Watch some of the Barstool, by the way. Watch some of the Barstool. And Dave Portnoy, by the way, check me out. If you can hire Frank the Tank, you can hire me. But check out some of the Barstool videos and Frank the Tank going off about the Mets. And this guy needs some serious help, man. Anyway, back to Corey Seager. A lot of chatter about him being an MVP, a winner in the American League this year, because he will benefit from this change in the shift rules. If that's what you need, it's a change in the rules to make you a better player, then God bless you. That's not how I want my players to get better. I'd like to see them work at their craft and maybe get better that way. I know that's, really asking a lot. How many home runs has Aaron Judge hit? Another big storyline this year. Listen, guys, baseball fans, Yankee fans, casual fans, whoever you are, when Aaron Judge hits 45 home runs this year, or 40 home runs, drives in 120 runs, hits 290, please don't tell me he stinks and doesn't deserve his money. He had an historic season last year under some very trying circumstances. Nobody's ever had a walk year like his. He bet on himself and he won. If he doesn't hit 62 home runs, this isn't a bad year. And again, a lot of it's going to come down to, are people going to pitch to him? You see that, last year he walks a lot because they don't respect the guys behind him. They need Stanton to have a really good year. They need Rizzo to have a really good, Rizzo will probably hit in front of him. Well, no, if he hits second, Rizzo and Stanton will hit behind him. They need the guys behind them to have a good year, so they got to pitch to Judge. If they don't, here's what happens. And this is what happens in the Yankees historically. In fact, Alec, if you want to be disappointed at the end of the year, it should probably be fair and say, be a Yankee fan, because I'm disappointed now every year. 27 World Championships. We haven't won anything. We haven't even been to a World Series since 2009. And it's the same thing year after year. And you'll see Aaron Judge do a great job during the regular season of laying off bad pitches, making pitchers pitch to him, taking a walk. But come the postseason, he expands that strike zone, and he becomes an easy out. But please, when he hits 40 home runs with 120 RBIs, please don't tell me he had a bad year. One of the storylines I read a lot about Anthony, if you're still with me, the Orioles keep rising. I read an article today that has them winning the NL East or the AL East. I don't see it. Again, I think Rauschman is becoming one of the best players, one of the best catchers, surely, maybe one of the best players in baseball. And I like Gunnar Henderson a lot. I love Cedric Mullen. I think this team just needs pitching. I don't think they got the pitching to contend. I really don't. How many games will the Red Sox lose? Another big storyline. Don't know if you're still with me, Italy Jet. It's been a long time since they lost 100 games in Boston. 58 years, I believe. That's a long time because everybody has a bad years. And Red Sox have had some bad years, but they've never lost 100 games in 58 years. I hate to tell you, but this could be the year. We'll see. Again, I picked them 2 years ago, so I don't, believe me, I'm not the end-all, be-all. And there's talk, too, one of the other storylines I read about the Red Sox was that even though they signed Rafael Devers to a long-term contract, they may be up to moving him come midseason. Now, the article I read had him going to the Cubs and then winning the Central. Not happening. The Cubs are terrible. As bad as that division is, I do not think the Cubs have nearly enough to compete with the Cardinals or even the Brewers. Mets failed to meet expectations. Mets have already, listen, Buck Showalter is one of the best managers in baseball, and I don't root for the Mets because, again, I have a big thing about people who have multiple teams. You can't have multiple allegiances. Now, there are people that I root to do well. I want Buck Showalter to do well. I think Buck Showalter is one of the best managers in baseball. I want Buck to, at some point, finally get his World Series. Not at my expense, though. And I'm not a Met fan. But they missed out on Carlos Correa. You know, their best starting pitchers are, almost a combined 80 years old. There's some question marks behind them and Carrasco and the kid from Japan, Senga. Still some question marks with, if Escobar gets off to a kind of start that he got off to last year, you might see Batty at third base. Still some question marks behind the plate. Still some question marks with the DH. Vogelbach looks like me in a uniform. The Astros remain great. Another storyline. I have them winning their second consecutive World Series. The first time in 20 years that's happened. Dusty Baker wins the AL Manager of the Year award. Don't be surprised, though, if Seattle pushes them. If Seattle can get by Houston and win that division, they could win it all. I think this team's one more year away, Seattle. Another team for you to consider out there in the West, on the West Coast, Alec. You want a couple teams to kind of grow with? Jump on the Mariners bandwagon or jump on the Diamondbacks bandwagon. And you can say, I was there before they were winning. What's going to happen with Ohtani? Ohtani's this year's Soto. Contract's coming up. No extension with the Angels yet. He'll become a free agent. He's kind of taken right now the Aaron Judge approach. I'm betting on myself. Good bet, too. He's a great player. He's the most talented player in baseball, only because he pitches and hits. Look at what he did in the WBC. It was amazing what he did in WBC. Especially in the final game. He played 8 innings, had to run the bases. I know he DH. He didn't play the field. But he still had to run the bases. He had to bust it to first base a couple times on bang-bang plays. And then he comes in and he pitches the 9th inning and retires him 3 straight. I wasn't kidding, by the way. So what are they going to do? Will they negotiate? I do not believe there's been a moratorium on negotiation during the year like there were on some other teams. So the question is going to become, will he sign long-term with the Angels or will he go elsewhere? Now, the talk is he wants to stay on the West Coast, so that limits his options to the Angels, the Dodgers, the Padres, the Giants, maybe Seattle. Seattle's got a really large Japanese population, as we know from the years that Ichiro was there. We'll see. Fernando Tatis, what will he do in his return? New position. No longer the highest paid guy in the team. In fact, before long, he might be the fourth or fifth highest paid guy in the team. How's he going to deal with all of that? How's he going to deal with having missed an entire season last year? Is his approach, his mental approach to the game, strong enough to allow his physical attributes to really, really come to fruition? I have my doubts. The Padres, in general, how would they do with this star-studded team? Will they finally win a World Series? They've never won a World Series in their history. They've been to, I want to say, one. I think they went to one with Bruce Bochy, one of the great managers in baseball. And by the way, one of the reasons the Rangers have any chance to improve is Bruce Bochy, Hall of Fame manager. Did a great job with San Francisco. Did a great job with San Diego before that. I think the Padres do have a good year, but I think the Padres go out to the Braves because I think the Braves are just a more complete team and rely less, on those core superstars. I think they will play better as a team, more better team chemistry. Although back-to-back years they've lost Freddie Freeman and Dansby Swanson, two of their veteran leaders in that clubhouse and on the field, performance-wise. So I think the Braves beat the Padres in the NLCS and lose to the Astros. As I said, the Astros win their second consecutive World Series. I don't know. What else is going on here in baseball? Should we take a look? What else in the news haven't I mentioned? Daniel Bard gets hurt. I think I mentioned the closer for the Rockies. He'll start the season on the IL with anxiety. Man, I suffer from anxiety now and again, and I go to work every day, but I'm not pitching in front of, I'm not doing my job in front of 50,000 people. So I should give him a benefit of doubt. And I know mental health is a very important thing and I shouldn't make light of it. And I'm sorry, Daniel Bard, I didn't really mean to make fun of him. What else we got here? Oh, just when I thought this had gone away, we've already got the rule changes we know about for this year. Rob Manfred really spelled out here the other day that Major League Baseball is very, very serious about the automated strike zones. We won't have the human factor at all. Why don't we just have robots play the game and officiate the games? And, we'll just sit back and watch AI take control of everything in sports. Why does a human factor have to be removed from everything? I understand I'm a dinosaur. I understand that, younger people want everything's got to be perfect. If we can fix a mistake, we shouldn't allow it to happen. Do you know how many great moments in sports and baseball specifically would have been lost without mistakes by umpires or officials in other sports? You guys might be too young to remember the 1985 World Series with the Cardinals and the Royals. Without the blown call in Game 6 where the Cardinals would have won it, but Don Denkinger, the first base umpire, blows a call at first base where the guy's out by this much. Called him safe. Royals come back and win that game in dramatic fashion, win Game 7. Nobody remembers that World Series without that. Now, maybe that's not important. Maybe getting the calls right and being perfect is what matters. But one of the most memorable games in Major League Baseball World Series history would be lost if we were replaying that play. I don't know. Human factor, human error. Players can err, but umpires can't. Phillies who are really hurting for injuries. They picked up Christian Pash from the A's yesterday. Nothing to get excited about here. He hit 3 home runs with 18 RBIs, only hit 166 in 91 games last year. Went to the A's in the Matt Olson trade. Listen, the A's are very good. The A's may lose 120 teams. They're very good at getting rid of good ball players. That's all they are. And now they don't even have good ball players now. I don't know what they're going to do this year. That's about it. The games we saw yesterday are the series that we'll see this weekend. So they will continue. A couple fun series to watch. Yankees and Giants are fun for me. My boss is a Giants fan. We'll have a little bragging rights. I should make a little wager with him. I gotta check some out here. Anyway, that's what we got, guys. We're gonna wrap it up here a few minutes early. We got to get our vlog. Get our vlog done to play later. I'll be on later with Dan Harris with the New York Let's Talk New York Sports show. We'll talk about a lot of the stuff we've already talked about with the Yankees and the Mets here, more in depth possibly. And please join us. Dan does a great job. Dan's still fighting his health issues, and I'm really proud of the fact that Dan does everything he can to do our show together. So thanks, Alec. Great to have you with me. I'm glad that you're one of my new followers. I enjoy you coming. I enjoy your comments, and I hope you continue. And if you're not liking and following the show, please do it and put it. Oh, there goes my music. And also invite your friends if you would. Thank you. All right, guys, have a great weekend. Baseball in full fledged and full flight. How about that? And by the way, 70 degrees here on the East Coast tomorrow. Baseball weather. Enjoy it. Engle for TGI Sports Talk, Major League Baseball update. We'll catch you next time. Bye-bye.